The Zephyrian fleet emerged from hyperspace like a disease, their obsidian vessels blotting out the stars above Earth's colonies. Commander Alexander Chen watched from the bridge of the UES Retribution as the alien armada descended upon New Geneva, humanity's crown jewel in the Proxima Centauri system. The planet's azure atmosphere began to burn. "Sir, we're receiving multiple distress signals," reported Lieutenant Nora Sullivan, her fingers dancing across the communications console. Her voice remained steady despite the horror unfolding before them. "The surface installations, they're gone." Alexander's jaw tightened as he watched the orbital bombardment reduce cities to glass. 3 million colonists lived on New Geneva. Had lived. The Zephyrians weren't interested in conquest or negotiation. This was extermination, pure and methodical. "How long until the rest of the fleet arrives?" Alexander asked, though he already knew the answer would condemn him. 18 hours, sir," Nora replied. "The Zephyrians will finish their work long before then." The Retribution was alone, a single heavy cruiser against an entire invasion force. Standard military doctrine demanded retreat, regrouping, strategic withdrawal, but Alexander had seen what the Zephyrians did to prisoners during their expansion across the Outer Rim. Death was a mercy compared to their biological experiments. "Plot an intercept course," Alexander ordered. "All hands to battle stations." Nora's eyes widened. "Sir, that's suicide. We can't save them all," Alexander interrupted. "But we can make the bastards pay for every life." He activated the ship-wide comm. "This is the captain. Today we make humanity's enemies remember why they should have left us alone." The Retribution dove toward the Zephyrian fleet like a meteor of human fury. Alexander had spent years studying their technology, their tactics, their weaknesses. The aliens were superior in numbers and firepower, but they lacked something crucial: the desperate creativity of a species that refused to die quietly. "Target their command ship," Alexander commanded. "Load the experimental payload." The cargo bay doors opened, revealing humanity's most closely guarded secret: Project Prometheus, a weaponized singularity contained within a magnetic bottle. The device had never been tested in combat, deemed too dangerous by the ethics committee. But ethics were a luxury the dead couldn't afford. The Zephyrian fleet moved with mechanical precision, their ships maintaining perfect formation as they systematically glassed the planet below. They didn't expect a single human vessel to attack, and their hubris would cost them dearly. The Retribution's railguns opened fire first, tungsten slugs screaming across space at relativistic speeds. The lead Zephyrian destroyer simply vanished in a cascade of superheated metal and venting atmosphere. The aliens' shields were designed to stop energy weapons. They hadn't anticipated humanity's preference for kinetic destruction. "Proximity alert," Nora called out as return fire lit up their screens. "Multiple missile locks." "Evasive maneuvers," Alexander ordered, gripping his command chair as the ship rolled through a barrage of plasma torpedoes. One grazed their port shield, sending cascades of sparks across the bridge. "Continue the attack run." The Retribution carved through the Zephyrian formation like a blade through silk. Every shot counted, every maneuver calculated for maximum damage. Alexander had transformed his crew into extensions of his will, each officer anticipating his commands before they were given. But the numbers were overwhelming. Warning klaxons wailed as system after system failed under the alien onslaught. Hull breaches vented atmosphere into the void while fires raged through the lower decks. "Sir, we've lost main engines," Nora reported, blood trickling from a gash on her forehead. "Auxiliary power at 30%. Alexander smiled grimly as the Zephyrian command ship loomed ahead, its organic curves bristling with weapons. "Perfect. Nora, transmit this message on all frequencies, human and alien." He activated his personal recorder as the ship shuddered under renewed fire. "This is Commander Alexander Chen of the United Earthship Retribution. You came to our worlds thinking us weak, thinking us defenseless. You murdered our children, burned our cities, and counted us among the conquered." His voice hardened to steel. "You were wrong." The magnetic containment field around Project Prometheus flickered and died. Space itself screamed as the artificial black hole tore free from its bonds, its event horizon expanding with terrifying hunger. The Zephyrian command ship, caught in the gravitational maelstrom, began to stretch and warp as tidal forces ripped it apart atom by atom. The singularity consumed everything within a 50-kilometer radius before finally collapsing in on itself, leaving only empty space where a dozen alien vessels had been. Alexander felt the retribution buckling around him as secondary explosions tore through the hull. They had perhaps minutes before life support failed completely. But it didn't matter. They had sent a message that would echo across the galaxy. "Nora," he said quietly, "send word to Earth Command. Tell them the Zephyrians can be beaten. Tell them how we did it." She nodded, her fingers flying over the damaged console. Around them, the surviving crew worked with desperate efficiency, encoding everything they had learned about their enemy's weaknesses. The transmission burst away toward Earth at faster than light speeds, carrying with it the tactical data that would turn the tide of war. The Zephyrians had expected easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous: human ingenuity married to human rage. As the retribution died around them, Alexander and Nora watched the remaining alien ships retreat into hyperspace, their perfect formation shattered by fear and uncertainty. The message was clear: humanity would not go quietly into extinction. 3 months later, the combined fleets of Earth arrived at the Zephyrian homeworld. They brought with them refined versions of Project Prometheus, human tactics adapted to alien weaknesses, and a simple declaration that echoed Alexander's final words: "You were wrong." The war that followed would be remembered as the moment humanity claimed its place among the stars. Not as victims, but as apex predators who had learned to hunt in the dark between worlds. The Zephyrians had destroyed one human colony. Earth's response had no mercy.